Hey guys, welcome to Foxden. Today I'll be reviewing Punisher, what I liked, what I didn't, very quickly, just to kind of go over the season and what I hope to see next season. One of the big things that I've had a problem with a lot of the Marvel shows, ever since Daredevil season 1, it seems like they don't really know where to draw a line, and it always goes further than it should in certain areas. So, for example, like in my opinion, Jessica Jones, it went too far with the sex scene stuff. It went to the point where it's like, okay, we get it, and then it was just like, oh, and then we'll just keep watching them do it. Kind of weird, like it's uncomfortable for people to watch. I think, especially if you're watching with other people, like, it's just weird to watch. And even with Iron Fist, you have what's his name just smashing that guy's face in the dead body, and it's like, it's disgusting. It's not cool. It's not fun to watch. It's just gross. And that's just kind of the note that I ended up hitting on a couple times with Punisher as well, is that my biggest problem with Punisher, and other people have mentioned, he didn't do quite as much punishing as you might have expected from the Punisher, but it never felt that slow to me, and I liked that about it. It to me, it felt well paced. I felt like I was learning more about Frank Castle. I felt like his kind of B story with the guy that he was working with, I felt like that was interesting. I liked the way that they played that out. I felt like maybe the FBI guy or lady and her partner guy, they were the least believable people in the show. At no point was I like, they seem like FBI agents or CIA or whatever they were supposed to be. It doesn't really matter. They were the weakest point, in my opinion. I think they were CIA because that makes more sense than FBI. But anyways, like they never established a connection between her and the guy that died, so it was really hard to care about anything that she said or about this random guy who meant that much. That story meant that much that she had to rectify the situation. I feel like that was very odd. How much she was interested in finding out the truth and exposing that. It was kind of weird. I liked his partner. At first I didn't like him. I was like, he's a little too like, I'm a Men's Warehouse model or something. But then it played into his character, so I thought that was fine. And I think I know some people didn't like the whole like domestic terrorist part of it. I thought it was good in the way that it did show, that war isn't without consequence. I liked that about, showing that U.S. soldiers don't just come home and they're fine and they just get there's problems that can cause problems. I do understand that people might have been offended, that he, starts just bombing U.S. citizens. That was a little weird. But at the same time, I think it succeeded and failed in two different ways. It succeeded in pointing out that, these people did come back broken a lot of times, but it failed in the way that that he decided to kill Americans. That was kind of weird. Some people made some stupid decisions. That's, I feel like, a common thread in a lot of the Marvel shows. Luckily, Punisher didn't make too many dumb decisions. It was more his black friend that ran the soldier kind of community talking thing. He decided to go try to like talk him down alone. That was kind of odd. I was like, he's not gonna call the cops just to be like, hey, I'll go help you get him or something. But instead, he's like, I'll just do it and I'll take him down to the station myself. That seemed pretty stupid. I actually kind of liked the character building for that character, though. I don't necessarily agree with the way they went with having him, bomb that building. But I did like that they showed that, he hated that guy who was essentially impersonating a soldier. He pretended to have been, scarred by war, but in reality, he was a liar. And I liked that, it showed how extreme this particular guy was. He was like, hey, you can't dishonor all these soldiers by pretending to be one. I like that aspect of it. I thought some of the fight scenes were cool. And here's the biggest issue that I had with it was that, I like when he broke into that guy's house, they had that fight. That was cool. I like the hotel scene. That was cool. But I thought, especially, at the end, there was too many scenes where I felt like I had to look away because it was just too pointlessly disgusting. And so I'd say, it goes to the point where it's not fun anymore to watch. And that's what I don't like. I don't like when it pushes the bar so far that it's no longer enjoyable to watch. The point shouldn't be how much can I gross out the audience till they won't watch it anymore. I feel like Walking Dead tries to walk that line. It's easier for them because they're zombies, but especially when you do it with human beings, it's for some reason different. It's harder to watch. So here's some spoilers and a couple points where I thought it was too much. It went into gore porn. It transcended from, hey, cool action to gore porn and violence porn. And when I say porn, I mean like to it's almost a fetish for certain people to watch it, but the vast majority is not going to feel okay watching it. And so, for example, when the CIA guy is just beating the crap out of him, and then, of course he gets out of the ropes and then beats the crap out of him and gouges his eye. And that was the thing. Like, okay, he's stabbing him. He doesn't need to stab him 57 times. Like that's too much. It's gross. It's not cool anymore. It's not like, oh, he's getting his revenge. It's like, this is disgusting. Why are we still watching him stab him this many times? And then to gouge out the eyes, I had to look. It's just gross. It's not fun to watch. And I felt the same way at the end with his friend where he's like, I'm going to leave you, let you live. And then he just rakes his face across the glass. And it's like, okay, he can do it like for a little bit, but does he need to like rake it across and rake it down, rake it across? It's like, it's too much. It's like, okay, we get it. We get it. And I think that's one of the problems that Marvel has is they don't seem to understand when we get it. We don't need to see gross, disgusting violence and gore. Like it's not even a thing where it's like, oh, I'm too like, I don't want to say prissy, but like that I can't handle it. It's not that I can't handle it. I can watch it. I can sit through it, but I don't want to. That's where you cross the line of, hey, you're making your audience uncomfortable for no reason. It's not helping the story. It's not helping the character. It's doing nothing other than being kind of weird, living out a weird fetish of the director. So that's my review of The Punisher. I enjoyed it. I loved all the side characters. I think that they did a good job of, staying fairly true to the Punisher. I'm obviously not big into comics. I've seen a couple of the animated movies or things with him in it, but I loved him in Daredevil season 2. That's still, in my opinion, by and far the best season of a Marvel Netflix show. I'm excited to see, but and that's almost to the point too where they did a good job of having multiple characters, and so I think they did a good job of having his sidekick guy in this show, and having them work together without having his sidekick like take over the story. It was always about Punisher, even though a lot of it was about a sidekick. Punisher was doing what Punisher does best, and handling things. So I'm hoping for a season 2 of the show. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I'm hoping for more, Punisher type moments like in Daredevil season 2 when he walks into the like video type store or whatever, the pawn shop thing, and the guy tries to sell him like child porn, and he's like, locks the door, walks over, and you're like, oh snap, Punisher! Like, there was no real moments like that in the Punisher show, and I feel like that really did a disservice to the character. So that would be my recommendation for the next season. Have more of those moments. Show more of what the Punisher is. He's not necessarily going out of his way to find ways to do good deeds, but when he's in certain situations, he can't let it go. And I think they kind of did that with the whole cement pouring scene, but I feel like they could have done a better job at having more of those moments within the show that allowed him to show who he is. Thanks for stopping by the Foxden, and hope you enjoyed the season. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you at the next review.